Afternoon. Here comes more. Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
Pretty good. Hi, Wendy.
Good. Here comes someone else. I'm kind of giving. We got a lot of people on this invite, so I'm giving a minute or so
I
to get
know.
them all in here. Hey, Trisha. All right. I'm gonna give like another minute, and while we do that, though, because we're missing quite a few people, while we do that, though, I would love to hear from those of you that are here. I like to throw a little positivity into Zoom. God knows we're in meetings all day long, and some of them can be fascinating. Who's got a win from the past week or so? Who's got something great that happened at the office for yourself? Doesn't have to be bold related, can be bold related. Who's got something good? I promise life is better when we have fun. So I mean, somebody's got to have something decent that has happened for them and for their and or for their office. Give me something, friends.
Okay, I'll say yesterday at our team meeting, we had one of our agents get up and he had kind of a really serious, like real conversation with everybody. He had seven buyers cancel last Friday and kind of went through that
Oh,
experience, but it was a really good talk. And out of that, then we really started talking about bold and what that will do for your life. And so we got a few more people to raise their hand to sign up at the Maple Grove office
that's
that
great.
originally weren't. So it ended up being a very good but tough conversation.
Well, so thank you for that for two reasons. Y'all were just staring at me. Second of all, these are the conversations that we have to be having. Obviously I have different locations here, but all of you are in some way, like none of you are shift proof anymore. Like maybe a year ago you weren't feeling it at all. Some of you, like you're all starting to feel it. Canceled contracts are the highest they have been in recorded history right now. That's a nationwide stat, the highest they've been. So I am so glad that that person shared that because first of all, it's not that knowing you're not the only one helps change the situation. Knowing you're not the only one can help change the mindset though. And you don't have to go down the road of beating yourself up and thinking that it's only you. The other reason that getting so important to have these tough conversations is, I'm talking to leadership. I know that many of you are paid to recruit and retain. Most of you are paid in some way, shape, or form based off bonuses. And the more the market shifts and the further we head into something that is more of a skills based market, I'm telling you right now, this is when your agents are vulnerable to be recruited. I'm not saying it to scare you. I'm not saying it to be negative. I want to make sure that we're being honest with one another. And they're gonna get recruiting calls more now than they do in a market where everything is just awesome and amazing. Like nobody wants to move when everything's amazing. But people, we do love as human beings, we love to blame things other than ourselves. Right. So rather than acknowledge that maybe we need some skills, it's real easy to be like, well, if I just move brokerages and I really want to challenge you, and I want to ask how the conversations around Boulder are going in a second. But before we even talk about it, what I really want to challenge you to do is to have the tough conversations. We can be their friend and we can still be honest. That you are, and I'm sure some of you are starting to see it. You have agents that are going to give you absolute garbage in their responses about Bold, about their goals, about everything. Everything's great, everything's fine. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not, Becky. You're down year over year, and you're not on track to hit your goals, and you seem stressed out lately. Can we have a real conversation around it? Like, I think it's time for us to get not mean, but get real honest. Because what I find in both my time as a team leader, I've seen it happen on my team, I've seen it happening with coaching clients. Um, if we're not willing to have the tough conversations and call people out on their whatever you would like to label it, and they get in front of somebody at another office who is willing to have that tough conversation, even though it's not fun in the moment, that's a person they'll flock to. So I just really want to challenge you. I think part of the great thing about launching Bold is that while you're never going to get everybody into the room, you do get to have conversations with everybody if we're doing it right. And it allows you to really get connected with people and help just help people get into reality. So what I'd love to hear right now is I would like to just hear what are some of the what are some of the things you're hearing as you talk about Bold as far as like maybe objections that you might be getting stuck on so that we can help each other to have more powerful conversations in the coming week. And this is where you guys have to participate. So look, we're all in it together. Like, where are you maybe having some struggle?
Affordability with some of my up and coming agents.
Okay. So I would imagine that's something that other ones on here have had. So I have a couple of thoughts around that. There's two groups of people who are going to talk about the cost. There's the group of people that it's a very fake answer for, and then there's the group of people who really need help. The group of people who really need help, we have some options, right? We have the MAP scholarship that they can apply for, which I don't believe we've sent that information out yet. I should know, and I don't off the top of my head. Yay me! And yet, if we have it, it'll be coming out soon. I can assure you of that. So there's a MAP scholarship that covers half. We have a student loan option. So, and because we still have like a little over 4 weeks for you guys, that's one thing where you can do where you can allow them to sign up. They pay $420 up front, and then starting at step two, no more charges till step two, they pay $78 a week. So there's that, get them to step one and I can raise money in the room. So there's ways to go. I would venture to bet that the majority of the people that tell you it's money, it's not money. And I'm not saying that necessarily money isn't tight for them, but my kind of smart aleck measure is, if, and you know your people better than I do, right? If they're the type of person that if a brand new iPhone and or Android, whatever flavor they are, if a brand new phone was released tomorrow, would they order it? Because if the answer is yes, then the money's not the issue. My first Bold went on the only credit card that wasn't maxed out for me. It was time for me to change my freaking life. And so I found the money. I've had people borrow money before. So this is kind of goes back into that conversation about having the tough conversations. I think this is where we need to look at somebody that says, hey, I can't afford it, and be like, hey, I hear you. And I have found in my life that I can't afford it is a cycle that we can get stuck in forever if we're not careful. So do you mind if we talk about it a little bit? They're going to say yes. And then start asking them questions. Find out if it's really money. If it's really money, we find another way. If it's not really money, we coach them up into taking the risk and spending the $7.99 and taking control of their lives. So thank you for saying that, because I know that one comes up every time. What else are you guys hearing that maybe has been a challenge to get around?
A problem that we have is people who took Bold last year didn't necessarily care for the coach. So we're having a tough conversation with trying to convince people to come back this year because they just have like a bad taste in their mouth from last year.
So I have 18 market centers and 3 Bolds. You're in my Pennsylvania, right?
Correct.
Cool. Yes. A little birdie told me all about that. So here's what I would say. Um, all I can do is they can come to step one and make an educated decision. I will talk to literally as many people as you send me to. I can't blind call your roster, and frankly, it wouldn't make sense for me to do it because I don't have any capital with them. But if you have somebody that would be there other than, you know what, I didn't like the coach and now I'm shell shocked, I'm happy to have a conversation with them. I'm happy to jump on a Zoom with them. That's
Jordan,
one of those things.
Jordan, I could also have a conversation with your market center. We saw the same thing before we had Hudson. We had a bad Bold teacher, and it really did put a damper on it. But Hudson knocks it out of the park, and I can give testimonials on that.
So my team leader just started doing testimonials of people from the previous years on our Facebook page, which has been encouraging. It's just some of the people that we typically see who are signed up by now haven't, and their response is, I didn't necessarily care for last year's coach. And we're like, well, everybody's different.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's not my first time walking into that situation. Beth, I'm super grateful for your kind words and for the offer. Beth has done bold with me twice now as a team leader. Like she's launched with me twice now. This will be the third time. And so maybe talk to your leadership. Maybe it wouldn't be the worst idea to, record a 5-minute video between team leaders just asking questions because, at the end of the day, they'll know that she's not paid to say it. I mean, she's not part of Maps, right? And I don't know, it might help. Plus, she can be nice and blunt because she doesn't work for Maps. I ooh, on this recorded line. So I'll say this. I was told who the coach was, and I can understand, and I'll say that. And I will say that our styles are very different. Everybody's got a fan, right? That coach has been very popular in many locations. We are very different in the way that we show up. So I can't say more than that because I like my job. And yet, what I would say is if you want to do something with Beth, I can connect you guys. If you want me to talk to anybody on an individual basis and let them decide, I have a pretty high conversion rate with these conversations because I'm not a butthead. So, well, I kind of am,
Thank
but
you.
not about bold. So, thank you. What else? What other challenges are we coming upon? Because then I'm going to go in a different direction. Go ahead.
Just with people saying, yeah, I took bowl before, and then even if they took it last year when it was the first onward bowl. So
Yeah.
I know that's probably not the true objection. So it's probably digging deeper on that, but
Well, it's probably not. So I find a great response to that, and every once in a while it will bite you because not everybody has the same experience, but most of the time this will work really well. And my response usually is, "Hey, did you make more money when you were there?" 9 times out of 10, if not more than 9 times out of 10, the answer is going to be yes. And that's when, and this is where I encourage you, like, this is when you give them the look, the like, okay, so really? I said, great. So you took it a year ago. It sounds like it's time to take it again. Could you use some more money right now? What would that do for you? So I really, this is where I would really challenge you. I really liken it to all these conversations. I liken it to when you walk into a department store or to a car dealership, and it's that instant like, no, I'm just looking. But like it's 2025 and you're in a physical space. No, you're not. You went there because you're there for a reason. You're there to buy something or test drive something or like whatever. They're going to give us a lot of no's, like I took it last year, that are totally surface level no's. And it's kind of like, the clients want to be closed, the kids they want rules, right? Our agents want us to get them to bold, but they feel like they have to push back because that's kind of human nature. So yeah, I would really, my response, my easiest one to get a conversation going is always like, well, hey, did you make more money while you were there? And by the way, if it's the 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 that says, no, I didn't, then it's like, well, hey, so let's talk about that. Like, did you actually participate at a high level, or did you maybe kind of, I call it buffet bowl. Did you maybe kind of take buffet bowl where you kind of did a little bit, but we're kind of doing your own thing? Because it's pretty hard to participate in bold and not make extra money. Like you almost have to try to. There is no try. So you almost have to demand to. So yeah, this is where I would encourage you to come back with them and not be a jerk and not to be like, no, you're wrong. Like just be like, okay, well, wait, come on. But you made more money, didn't you? Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, then why don't we make more money again? And then there's the whole saying, and depending on the person, it might be too fluffy for certain people. But there's the whole saying that no man ever steps in the same river twice because the river's not the same and neither is the man. Right? It was obviously written a long time ago. It'd probably be person or one, whatever. But here's the deal. Like, okay, so a year ago, was everything the same in your business and was everything the same in your life? Was everything the same in the market? Was the coach the same? No. So, okay, so let's do a different thing here. It might feel the same, but it's different. So I can appreciate that. But it's usually a surface level deal, like you thought. Any other things that we haven't already talked about that are out there? Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. Clarity is power. We have plenty of time to hit all of our goals, and we have 4 weeks, and 4 weeks is going to fly by if we allow it to. So I'm seeing, there's 18 market centers between my three bolds, and some of you have great numbers already. Some of you are not on the board yet. I have no judgment. Here's what I'm saying is you got to look at whatever goal you have for this bold and divide it by 4, and it's time to get into action now. So if we haven't started talking to our agents yet, I have no guilt to give you, and I would challenge you to really jump on that. I I'm going to send this recording out so the people not here will see this, and I'm just going to be real with my bold leader friends. There's 18 market centers, and look at how many people are on here. So I'm a little, with 4 weeks left, I'm not overly concerned, but I am slightly concerned that we're kind of pushing bold down the river to do later, and I just feel like it's kind of time to jump into it. So you're here, so you're awesome. The rest of the people, guilt them. Just kidding. And you're watching this recording. It's just time to get in. So one thing that I want to do, and I know I don't have every market center represented here, but I want to collect some goals from you guys by the market center. And this is just, and here's what you need to know. This is not, I'm not going to go to maps and you're either going to look like a winner or a failure. It has nothing to do with that. I want to know what your ideal number of agents in the bold room is. What would you be excited about? What would you feel is a win? Some of you, I have your numbers, but some of you I don't. So I'm going to go through, and if you're here, please answer. If not, I will chase it down. Do I have anybody from Kernersville? Yes. Do you know what the individual, I know what the whole goal is, but what for the market center, do you know how many they want?
I do not know. I just sent her a message, so come back around to me.
Yeah, or just you can email me with it or have them text
Okay.
me. And again, like make sure they know this is not like, oh God, if we don't hit it, we're in trouble. It's not that. I want to
Okay.
help support exciting goals, not like skate by goals. So just how many would they love to have in the room?
Okay.
Do I have anybody else from my triad? Do I have any of the market centers from the triad North Carolina Bowl?
I don't think
Okay,
so.
I didn't think so. Okay, cool. Well, not cool. Ian, do I have anybody from Coon Rapids? Nope. Okay. North Suburban Market Center 378. Sweet. This is going great so far. Isn't this fun, guys? 600 Lake Minnetonka. Sweet. Okay, cool. Elk River, Adina. Ooh, we're going great. Okay. Burnsville, Woodbury, or Rochester. Well, this worked out fantastic. Cool. I
think
have so many.
right now you have 4 from Maple Grove or North Central Region, 1, 2, 5 from North Central Region.
Okay. Well, I have people to chase down. That's so fun. Okay, so I will find goals. But for those of you that are here and that know your goals, what I want you to look at that number. You know where you're at because you have one thing I want to make sure you all understand is that daily email that comes out. Those are whatever the numbers are that morning. But when you scroll to the bottom and it says see who's registered for see who's registered for first steps, see who's registered for full. Those are live links. So at any given time, you can check that. So just know that you know where you are. So I want you to look at your gap and divide it by 4. And the easiest way to have this bold be a win is just to start attacking it. So if you need to get 5 this week, if you need to get 15, if you need to get 20, like I would just challenge you to find a way to do it. And by this week, I mean this coming week, by the way, not like in the next 2 days. Don't have a heart attack on me. So I want you to start looking at your goals because we've got 4 weeks. Thank you, Wendy, by the way. Where am I? 983. Oh, yours. Okay, I did have yours. I had, yeah, my Philly folks, my Pennsylvania folks, I had your numbers. Thank you, though. So we got 4 weeks left. We've talked about objections. If anybody on here has not yet scheduled either their ALC or their team meeting with me, please do that. If we follow the play that I will give you the play, it tends to be very successful. We've had some really good ones. We've also had some, no judgment, I'm just going to say it. We've had a few in the last couple days where it wasn't prepared for in the manner that I had asked to be prepared for, and it hasn't worked super great. But it can be great leverage. We've had one have 10 this week. We've had one create 15 registrations, really nice chunks of registration. So if you still have to schedule that, I want you to reach out to me. What other questions can I answer for you guys? I promise you when we started this, I'm not going to get out a PowerPoint every time we meet. This is what's going well, what's not, how can I help you? This is always what this is going to be. So what can I do? What questions, what challenges? How can I help you guys have an amazing next 7 days in regard to this bold launch and outside of it?
Hey, Hudson, I think it's just more on us to get the, keep promoting bold, getting the word out there, building that FOMO.
I appreciate that. And that is the truth. And I know that you guys have big worlds. Here's something that one of the other bold coaches said the other day, and I want to share it with my leader friends because I thought it was very powerful. Um, and they were speaking of leadership. Bold, and I don't mean this to sound like I'm correcting you, by the way, Jim, but bold isn't really something you promote, it's something that you model as a leader. And I say that so that you guys can go out there. This is how we started the conversation today, and I don't mean to beat the proverbial dead horse. Your agents are struggling. And I don't have a nicer way to say it, and they're not here to get mad that I'm saying it this way. They're lying to you and telling you they're not struggling. They wait until it gets so far out of hand that you can't help them when they finally tell you, "Oh my God, I haven't paid my mortgage in 3 months." Your agents are struggling, and then outside of the extreme, you have a sea of people who are living far below their real opportunity. And so, all I can urge, beg, whatever you to do is to please, please have tough conversations. And I'm going to be honest with you. I would love for you to give tons of time to bold every single day. Like, this is my jam. I know it's not the only thing you have to do, but here's how you win in a bold launch. If bold is in your top 5 things every day, if it's something you give attention to every day, your bold launch is going to be off the charts amazing. You're going to fill every seat you wanted to. You're going to get great results. Your bonuses are going to reflect it. Profitability is going to reflect it. If you leave it to like, hey, once a week, I'll give it an hour, it's going to fall apart. So I say that to say that I know your worlds are crazy. And if, let's say that this is the first time you've even thought about bold today, if you even found time to call 1 or 2 of your agents and have a care conversation with them, that is so much more powerful than waiting for that perfect hour block. Like, we all get these little in between times, and when you can talk to the 1 agent, to the 2 agent, hey, you can go down the hall and talk to whoever because they come in every day. If you could just give it a little bit of attention every day, I'm going to tell you you're going to win at such a high level. Yeah. So any other questions, anything else? Because I don't want to take any more of your time, and I want to make sure that you are equipped. Are there any questions that I can answer that would help you guys launch at a higher level?
Maybe you've kind of touched on this, but I just kind of want to bring this to our attention. So in our morning meeting this morning, a lot of what we're talking about is not wanting it more than them, but also not pushing them so far that they're like, well, we don't like you. We don't want to do bold, and like leaving us. Right. So
Of
like,
course.
where's like, can you like, and I guess I struggle kind of having those conversations. So where would you say that balance, right way to balance that is?
I love that question. Thank you for that question. I I look at this the same way that I looked at anything in my leadership role, the same way that I look at my coaching life, the same way that I've looked at my business my entire career. I want to sleep good at night. I'm going in a weird direction. It'll make sense in a second. I want to sleep well at night. When I look back at my business and when I talk to agents about following up right, I am always like, look, you're going to win some and you're going to lose some, period. I would always rather lose because I did too much rather than not enough. And that's how I look at this. I feel like when you're the really nice leader and somebody is feeding you absolute bull stuff and you don't call them out on it, it's not being a leader, in my opinion. I don't say that to be a jerk. It's not being a leader. So I feel like, what's the line? Well, if they're getting heated, okay, it's time to shut it down. But when somebody says, gosh, why are you always talking about bold? Yeah, you're right. Can I kind of share with you why I have passion? Like, we have to, I don't want you to push your agents. I want you to attract them. I want you to, this is why I talked about when you work through your roster, never really starting the conversation around bold, unless you're calling like a card carrying bold junkie and they'll sign up, right? What I really want you to be doing is, how is your business? How is your life? They all got a gap, friends. Everybody in your market center is either not making enough money or not selling enough houses or not hiring enough agents or not spending enough time with their spouse or not, like, there is a gap in all of their lives. And if you can find that and the response is, gosh, that's tough. And you know what? I want to help you with that. And I've got a great solution. And then you bring bold in. Like, bold is the closer. Bold is if we've already figured out what's going on in their lives and here's how we fix it. It works so well. And the handful of bolds that I've had before where we've sold out before step one, it's been because the leaders had those conversations. And the reality is, I know that most of you are already starting the conversations, but like if you haven't started yet, like 4 weeks is going to fly by. If you're actually going to connect with all of your agents, we have to start today. And I just, again, I look at your question and the question's so valid, but I think of it like, where's the line? I don't know. Like, if I'm not honest with them and they don't make more money, they're probably going to leave anyways. And I don't want you to push anybody out your door. Don't get me wrong. I know how hard it is to keep your retention up. But I also know that when, I always think, and I'll close with this in a second because I don't want to go over time. There was one bold that I really had to get dragged to kicking and screaming when I was still going as an agent. And at the time we didn't have a team leader, so my OP was wearing all of the hats, and man, she caught me on the wrong day, and I was not nice to her. And then I thought about it, and I was on ALC, and she gave me the guilt, and I was like, whatever, okay, fine, I'll go. And I was pissed at her, and I never really like I was not nice. Agents are jerks, me included. And I had such big growth in that bold. And the reason I was giving her a hard time about going is because all the wheels were falling off of my business. Like it was going well and it wasn't going well, if that makes sense. And I got a lot of stuff figured out in that bold. And I remember coming back to her a couple of months later and apologizing and thanking her. And and I don't think that's the first time that's happened. So I think if you've got to get really real with some of your people, if you've got to have maybe a challenging conversation with some of your people that might feel really uncomfortable in the moment, I really do genuinely believe that more often than not, that's the person that's actually never going to leave you. Because it's one thing to have the friend or the leader that will pat you on the back and be like, no, it's totally fine. Don't worry about the fact that you didn't hit your goals. Don't worry about the fact that you're struggling. Like, it's okay. That's a valuable friend from a not losing your mind standpoint. But the most valuable friend and the most valuable leader is the one that's going to say, hey, it is okay that this is happening, but it's not okay if it continues to happen. So, like, let's fix it. I think when you guys allow yourselves to have way more real conversations with your people, not only are you going to blow this bold out, but you're going to have people that will never leave you. Like I am a lifer with Keller Williams. You'd have to drag me out of here. Like, and it's because I've surrounded myself with people who will be honest with me and not just make me feel fluffy in the moment. So, I want to remind you guys, I genuinely look at this as a partnership. Some of you know that because we've launched together before. Some of you I'm new, like, please attempt to prove me wrong. If you need something, let me know. If you have somebody I need to talk to, connect me with them. If you haven't scheduled a meeting yet, let's do it. Like, I have got your back. I want you all to have the most wild, stupid, amazing success that you've ever had in a bold room ever. So I appreciate your time. I will send this recording out. Feel free for next week. Please encourage other leaders in your office to please attend. I'm never going to go longer than this, and it's always going to be interactive. It's all about what you guys need in the moment, okay? I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Sen.
Bye.